Hello, welcome back to our very interesting conversations with V and M. I'm M.
And I'm V.
And what are we talking about today, V?
Well, so I've been looking at one of my main inspirations when it comes to human development, psychology, one of the masters in the field, and this is something that I do come back to sporadically because I've gained so much inspiration, and it's Carl Jung. Specifically, his talk about shadow work and the shadow self. These are concepts that I've delved into before now, but one that seems to have come back round again at the moment. So shadow work, basically, I think the way Carl Jung would say it is that everyone has a shadow self, and that shadow self, therein resides any issues you might have, any things that might have happened to you during your life that have been upsetting in some way, caused you to have certain issues going forward, and basically that resides in the shadow. And the idea of shadow work is that you go in and you have a look at it and you see if you can work through any of it, so as to give you a better understanding of your own nature. Because I think his argument was very much that people do tend to go through life in a very unconscious way, and they react to situations in kind of a cyclic way that isn't altogether that healthy for them or the people around them. And it comes from the idea that we're very good at pointing out faults in other people but not in ourselves. So it's a kind of personal development exercise whereby you look at your shadow, you look at all your foibles, quirks, and see if you can become aware of them. And, so that's what I've been focusing on in the last day or two. Again, it's come back round.
But what if you're perfect like me?
Well, if you are, it is believed, or Carl Jung put it in a very broad way, that if someone is completely enlightened, then they don't have a shadow. But most people on the planet have a shadow self, have things that, need to be worked on in some way. So in this idea, enlightenment, or, what's a better word for that? That's the most common one, is the only way to get rid of the shadow. And you only get rid of the shadow and become enlightened if you work on the shadow.
So how do you work on the shadow then?
Well, there seems to be, from a lot of other kind of sources that I've come across, there seems to be all manner of things you can do to work on your shadow, really. One of the most commonsensical, I suppose, is to journal, is to write down or talk about this stuff in some sense. People who are of more of a kind of witchy or occult view might decide to do some kind of very, not even that simple sometimes, but a ritual of sorts, whereby they come to terms with various things going on in their psyche.
So when you talk about journal...
Yeah.
So I keep a journal.
Yeah. But you keep a journal about points of things that you've done every day, don't you? It's not, I'm talking about a kind of spiritual journal, an inward journal, talking about things that have come up for you that particular day that you might have found, a bit difficult to deal with, or so that you become familiar with these things. Writing things down seems to be something that comes up quite a lot in any kind of occult sense, and definitely very much so in the sense of psychology. And another thing that Carl Jung pointed out was that it wasn't just things that come up for you in the day. He believed very much that the dream world was a manifestation of things in shadow, and that you had to kind of bring those to the fore as well. So he placed a lot of emphasis on talking about this stuff. Obviously, he was a psychiatrist, or writing it down, or somehow bringing it out to the surface somehow.
So if something pissed me off,
yeah,
I'd write it down.
What you do is you sort of give a scenario, or what I'd do, how I see it. I mean, don't take this for gospel because, I'm not an expert at these things by any means, but I do feel that it's a useful exercise. So you'd write down that a certain scenario pissed you off, but you'd also try and delve a bit deeper and say, why did it? What is it about that situation that made me feel a certain way?
Yeah.
How could I know that if something like that was to happen in the future, how could I deal with it differently?
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
That's basic shadow work anyway, that's the basic premise.
But and in terms of dreams, if I had a bad dream,
he definitely was an advocate for all kinds of dream analysis. Recording dreams especially is the most, common start point.
What if I want to have dreams that I like?
Yeah, well, that's fine. But do you determine your dreams all the time? Do you really have that much control over it?
I don't know, but you have to distinguish here, I think, between what the word shadow could have two meanings. One meaning might be that it's negative, and another meaning might be
that's not entirely true, because shadow doesn't just encompass all the negative. Sometimes there's things in there that are positive as well mixed in. It's more to do with emotional intelligence when it comes to psychology, I think, and knowing yourself.
So I was about to say, one meaning of shadow could be negative, and the other meaning could be sort of hidden.
Well, all of the above, yeah.
That's the way I've interpreted that word, and I wasn't quite sure when you first started talking which way you were going to go.
Shadow is basically, in the Jungian sense, is all the stuff that you're unconscious of most of the time, especially your reaction towards situations that you're faced with in life.
So if a positive situation happened to me, I would write down why it made me feel good.
Yeah, yeah.
As well as writing down why things that pissed me off.
So in a sense, you're probably right, it is just hidden rather than negative.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's shadow is hidden rather than negative.
Yeah. A lot of people, when they're faced with the term shadow work, kind of see looking at the dark side, if you know what I mean, as opposed to a light worker who would look towards the light all the time and try and bring light in.
That's the same thing, isn't it?
It is the same thing,
the problem is using metaphors. That makes it look sort of difficult sometimes to know exactly. So when we're talking about shadows, we're not talking about negative, we're talking about anything you're not aware of.
Yeah, really, I think so. That's my interpretation anyway, the subconscious, yeah.
And we're talking about, what was the other one?
Some of it's negative, some of it's very negative, I would say, but not all of it, no.
And so it's a sort of similar idea to the word occult, and the fact it's hidden.
Yes, but coming from a psychology standpoint, but this shadow work seems to have been very much sort of, run away with by people, practitioners of kind of occult stuff, really. But it actually was Jung that first penned the concept, I think.
Well, he probably got it off occult anyway.
Well, they didn't call it shadow. So
well, they called it occult. I mean, it's just translate it differently if you want.
Yeah, it's coming from a psychologist's point of view.
To obscure, to hide, to include.
He was looking at it from a kind of conscious, subconscious mind point of view, which I actually think that's what a lot of that's what the occult is anyway, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, yeah. That I've really always felt such a resonance with Jung. I cannot tell you. And I remember it every time I go back to him. Especially that stuff, though.
So, I guess you tend to concentrate on negative things, because negative things are sort of more annoying than positive things, aren't they? So, if you know how you're reacting negatively, maybe you can do something about it, and then you don't need to worry about your positive reactions, because they're positive.
No, well, that's the thing, you see, because some positive reactions can actually end up being negative too.
How?
Strangely.
How?
Like, it's not... If something horrible happens to someone that you don't like, and you get a positive reaction from that, there's a problem there, isn't there?
Well, you don't really get a positive reaction from that. You get a reaction of, ugh, and then you go, and then you go, and you're not quite sure how to feel about it.
No, but somewhere in you is a positive reaction to that.
Yeah, but who cares? What kind of reaction?
No, the thing is, that's what shadow work is. It's about looking into that.
If you had a reaction to your own reaction in the sense of, oh, I don't like the fact that I had a positive reaction to something bad happening to someone I didn't like, I don't like that aspect of myself, then it's that as a negative reaction that you need to look into rather than the reactions, isn't it? The initial reactions.
No.
There's something about yourself you didn't like rather than a reaction to something that happened, isn't it?
It's the same thing.
Well, not really, because there's a primary reaction of like not really knowing how to feel, going one way and the other, and then you look at yourself going one way and the other.
No, the primary reaction would be yes, something happened to them. That would be the primary reaction.
I don't know. Depends what happens.
The secondary reaction would be, oh shit, maybe I shouldn't be feeling that.
No.
Let's look into that.
That's not me, because I sometimes bad things do happen to people I don't like, and my reaction tends to be like I imagine in there myself it happening to me, and then that's my first reaction.
No, I don't think it is. I don't think it is. I think that's a lie, actually. I think
when
that's
you
an
watch,
untruth.
when you watch You've Been Framed, yeah, like on the TV when they hurt themselves, they're doing crazy stunts and they hurt themselves. There's two categories. One is the category where you go ah. Yeah, like that. It
just wasn't good.
That was painful. Oh, well, that is bad. That is that's not good, yeah. You sort of cringe, don't you? Yeah. And the other reaction is, yeah, fucking stupid, you deserve that. Now, then you might think...
And why is it that people like watching this stuff?
And then you might think to yourself, you know what? I shouldn't have thought that. That was a bad thing to think.
Yeah.
Naughty me, I had the wrong reaction. And it's that negative reaction, perhaps, that you need to look into.
I disagree.
Why?
Because, you're pulling yourself up on something there.
Yeah. You are pulling yourself up.
So why have you got to look into that? You should look into your reaction of, oh, a stupid fucker, that was deserved. That's what you should be looking into.
I'm thinking of, let me put you something in mind for you. I'm thinking of those kids that do skateboarding.
Yeah, that's just nuts, man.
And none of them can actually do any tricks, but that doesn't stop them trying. And
well, I guess that's how they can do tricks in the end.
Well, yeah, it's a process of elimination.
If they're still alive at that point.
They've still got testicles left.
Or teeth.
Yeah, they would have given up, yeah. Broken their arm. Yeah. I knew a skateboarder who broke his arm. Yeah. I could have told him he was going to do that. But anyway...
I saw one that smashed their face in.
Yeah.
That wasn't very pleasant.
Well, point is, what I'm saying is, the reason I had that sort of, yeah, you deserve that, you stupid idiot reaction, was A, partly that they did deserve it, because they were being stupid. B, maybe there's part of me which is really judgmental, and that's a negative part of me.
Yeah.
And that's what I could start looking at. But I would only ever think to look at that in the first place if I judged myself afterwards for having that reaction.
Yeah, see, this has been on my mindscape for quite some time, this premise, this kind of thing. And I think what's brought it up again for me recently is getting more into meditation and the concept of enlightenment, really, which I think, is very...
What doesn't mean anything?
Not especially. But it's something to aim for.
How can you aim for it if you don't know what it is?
Well...
You're just going to have
I'm
some
not
weird
entirely
sensation.
sure, but I would say that it's sort of... What is enlightenment? Haven't we had this discussion before?
Should we talk about this?
What do you think enlightenment is?
What do I think enlightenment is? Well, I'm with the Zen guys in that we kill the Buddha in the sense that we don't aspire to the state of enlightenment. If enlightenment comes, then whatever it is, then that's fine. If it does not, that's fine.
But how would you know that it has?
Well, we don't judge, so we don't know. So I don't know. To me, enlightenment it's nothing. It's just a meaningless term put there to offer bait to, the spiritual searcher and give them some kind of light at the end of the tunnel.
Well, I think it's a bloody good light, really. There's worse things you could have at the end of the tunnel, but then it could be said that it's kind of an ever elusive,
Yeah, Exactly. So I'm with that school of thought,
kind of carrot on a string right in front of you.
If you can see the reality of enlightenment, then you're enlightened, or at least partly.
If you can describe enlightenment, you don't know enlightenment.
Well, anyway, that's my school of thought. But I mean, there are similar things like, I would say nirvana, emptiness, meditations. You can get good at that, then you can consider yourself, I suppose. If you can sit in nirvana for a while, then I guess you consider yourself, by someone else's opinion of what enlightenment is, enlightened. But that's just someone else's opinion of what enlightenment is. And when you actually look at yourself, you're just the same person as you ever were. You just happen to have developed a skill. I honestly don't think it's anything.
See, I'm going to describe what I think it is now. I think that enlightenment is a concept put there in order to make people look within and refine themselves just to such an extent that they fulfil their potential in life. That's what I think enlightenment actually is. It's being the best version that you can be of you, and knowing yourself so thoroughly that you almost, I wouldn't say you lose the emotion, you just learn to deal with them in a better way. You still yourself, you know thyself. That's what enlightenment is to me.
Yeah, I mean, you can put whatever label, you can understand it how you want, and that gives you some kind of directive.
Yeah. Yeah.
But this reminds me, when you were talking then, I was remembering Kensho, Japanese Kenshos, sort of Zen, not really enlightenment, but their sort of sensation of enlightenment. And they describe it as, after, meditation, that you might feel a sensation of, all colours in the world being sort of brighter and everything seem more real, or like you've woken up from a dream or something like that. There's kind of descriptions like that.
Yeah.
So the ones I've heard described like that are usually what I would call environmental descriptions, in the sense that
that's something I'd like to have a look at.
They're heightened. They're as a result of meditating, probably a natural reaction to the meditation. After your mind starts to relax and you regain equilibrium, you start to become hypersensitive, perhaps, to the environment, and
that's something I can actually relate to.
And I think that's
strangely, and I've never heard of that concept before.
That's my take on that. But they don't make that their goal.
Right.
Their goal is sitting properly and breathing properly, and that's it. It is literally that's gone, done.
Yeah, see, that kind of thing frightens me a little bit, like Zen does. I'd rather go down the path in meditation of not trying to do anything particularly.
Well, yeah, there is those other Zen schools, sort of more westernised, I would say, Zen schools that are not doing nothing kind of approach, an emptiness kind of approach.
Yeah, like you're not actually trying to control your breathing. You're not trying to sit bolt upright. It's more kind of just letting everything naturally still itself seems to work better for me, rather than trying to force it. Because that just puts me on edge, and I'm even less likely to get there. Personally, I'd rather take the approach of observing the breath, not controlling it.
This is another way you can do it. I mean, Zen's a broad topic.
Is that still Zen, though?
It is apparently still Zen, yeah. But it's not really Japanese Zen.
Because I seem to have a very warped sense of what Zen actually is in my mind.
It's sort of a Western kind of Zen, that.
Is it?
And the Japanese Zen, is like very controlled.
Which only the Japanese can do. Really. I mean, no, that's a bit of a stereotype. I'm sorry for that.
I mean, I would say the difference really is between the two is that in one case you are doing a physical meditation, in the sense that you're controlling your breath, you're controlling your posture, and this is like yoga. It's a physical meditation. It might not look much, it doesn't look as impressive
doing
as
it in yoga, doing that in a yoga sense makes more sense to me.
Well, let's not forget that meditation probably comes from yoga.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Well, no, I'd probably say that meditation must have come first, surely, because all it really is introspection.
Well, it depends how you define meditation, but in the sense that it's something that you do. I think, seated meditation. I don't know. Look, anyway, my point is the possibility that strain of meditation that's come through to Zen actually originated from yoga in the first place.
But I would go back. I would say that meditation itself was there first.
Well, yeah, of course, thinking came first.
Thinking, meditation, introspection,
being came
sitting
before,
and thinking.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like being is the first thing to have come anywhere, from our perspective, of course. Yeah. I was just meant in a historical sense. But anyway, yes. So that's a physical meditation, sitting and breathing. And it doesn't look much, and it doesn't. But that is physical. But then what you're talking about is like a kind of relaxation, not trying kind of approach.
I find it a lot less stressful just to say, okay, this stuff is in there. I'm just going to let it go through. I'm not going to hold on to it.
Well, this is a different type of,
It's almost like, I guess, from my very limited knowledge, it's a bit along the lines of something called transcendental meditation, I guess. Whereas you just observe, just sit and watch.
TM's got, like, mantras.
Yes, I know.
So
it's not entirely like TM. It, but yes, it is kind of an observational.
Well, this is more like, depending on what you're observing, really. I would say if you're kind of inward, then it's kind of, I would say, more of a Buddhist, not Zen, but sort of pre-Zen.
Mahayana.
Well, no, Mahayana is, Zen's part of Mahayana, but just sort of non-Japanese, I suppose, non-Japanese meditation. But it's very difficult to categorise, but what I'm saying is, like, it's not physical. Like your focus is inward, I guess, on what's going through your mind rather than on your body.
No, sometimes it is on the body with regard to the atmospherics around the body at the time of meditation. That's definitely been focused on before now.
The atmospherics?
Like if you feel a draft or there's a noise.
The noise is through your ears.
Yeah.
But I can understand draft.
Yeah.
Because you feel it on your skin.
Well, it's also a sense organ, the skin. I mean.
That's what I'm saying. You feel it on your skin.
Yeah, but you hear it in your ears.
Yeah.
So what's the difference?
Well, we're on to a new subject now. Should we go on to that subject? Synesthesia, the ability to distinguish between sensations from different parts of the body and anatomy. Yeah.
I don't really understand what that's got to do with anything.
Well, you said, what's the difference? The difference is...
Yeah, it's still a sense. It's still a sensation, isn't it?
Well,
whether it's a feeling on the skin or an audio, a sound that you've heard through your ears, it's the same thing. It's one of your senses.
Yeah, but you distinguish between your senses. And skin feeling...
I didn't say you wouldn't.
Right, okay. So what these things come from is your environment. So you could say that's an environment meditation.
Yeah, but I don't sort of categorise my meditation. I don't sit there and go, right, tonight I'm going to focus on environment. Tonight I'm going to focus on...
If you're not focusing on anything, then that's the type of meditation where you're not focusing on anything.
Yeah. Well, that's just my natural, by default way of doing things. And then it's like, from there, it's whatever, comes through to me, really. Yeah. It's a fluid...
Habitual consciousness will appear if you don't try and focus it in any way. It'll just be what you would normally focus on.
It's not, though. From my limited experience, it definitely isn't.
What do you mean it's not?
It really isn't. Some very strange things have come up that I wouldn't habitually think about.
Well, apparently you do, because you're not trying to make them think about it. That's what habit means. It means if you're not trying, it's what happens. That's kind of what habit is, isn't it? So if you're thinking weird shit and you're not trying to think about weird shit, then that's just the way your brain works. That's a habit of your brain to think about weird shit.
But what else is there?
I don't know. There's loads. I don't know.
See, what M does is categorise everything down to the bare bones, and I've never really understood it completely. I've got to be honest. Why you'd need to do that, index it in a certain way.
I'm not saying that you should.
Tonight I'm going to do this meditation.
Well, yeah, it's like
I've never really got it. Tonight, Matthew, I'm going to be...
Well, it's very simple. The way I view meditation is like a form of exercise. It's development. So therefore...
Yeah, but we're not different in that respect.
Well...
That's exactly how I see it too.
In exercising, one tends to focus on different muscle groups for different exercises.
Yeah.
And therefore, I would tend to use different meditations just to develop different facets of my overall personality. So, but if I don't place any direction on it, what I tend to do is go into, what would be normal for them. Perhaps I'm not aware of what normal is for me, but it is just allowing my brain to flow. So it's not like, that is why I categorise them. But I'm not saying that you can't do what you're doing. I'm just saying that's a category in and of itself. Trying to not try is
I'm not
also
trying
a
not to try.
Oh, right. Well, what do you do then?
I just let it flow.
Exactly. Well, that's trying to not try.
No, it's not. Because I have no natural inclination to try when it comes to that. It doesn't actually make any sense to me to try to do anything in meditation. Not like inward, introspective meditation. In yoga, that I can see what the point of that is. Mm-hmm. I can understand it a bit more. It's kind of there in your face. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? But I don't know. So I'm not trying at all to do anything. That's my point.
So when you sit down and you start to meditate, what distinguishes that from you sitting down and not trying to meditate or doing something else or just sitting down? What is the difference?
Well, for one, I don't think there's any other time in my life when I would just kind of sit down and not focus my attention on anything. So I've come to the conclusion that that's what differentiates meditation, is the fact that I'm not focusing on anything.
All right, so this category then is you sitting down and not focusing on something.
Yeah, right. It's like I'm giving my brain a rest, in fact.
Yeah. I call that Lembe Fei.
As you do. Let's just put that in there.
And I'm just illustrating because I have a category for this.
We work so completely differently. I don't know how we're married. Right.
Yeah, so just go with the flow, basically. That's what that means to me. But the fact is that you are sitting down to do that. Then you've started yourself on this journey of meditation. You've done something different, and so you might say you're not doing anything. You might not be doing
but
anything.
That's it. That's the whole sum total of my trying to do anything, is that I just sit there and not do anything else.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. I'm not going, what have I got cooked for dinner?
Yes.
What's on YouTube at the moment?
Yes. Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah. Shall I make that phone call to Mum? I'm not thinking about the girls. I'm not thinking about anything else. I'm not thinking. I'm not focusing.
Yeah.
That's the differentiation.
Exactly.
It feels like a relief to me to do meditation.
Yeah.
I don't want to make it hard work.
No, well...
like, what the hell?
The only time when you... Look,
that's why I'm not keen on Zen. That frightens me.
The nice element to Lembe Fei, i.e. go with the flow, i.e. not trying, i.e. what you're doing, is that you get to see part of you, part of yourself, which normally doesn't come up because you're always trying to do things.
Yeah.
So it doesn't appear. It's a form of listening, I would say.
Yeah, it's observation, of yourself.
Yeah, exactly. And you get to see all sorts of things which you should know, really, but you don't because you don't, perhaps, spend enough time listening to it.
Exactly, which is where the shadow aspect comes into it, I think. That's why that makes a lot of sense to me.
And this relates to divination in the sense that you are discovering things that it's an exploration. You're discovering things. You're seeing things that you didn't see before, and it's an investigation, and it's nice that way. But then the other side of the coin, where you're actually directing your focus and you're controlling, is useful in the sense that you can develop abilities that are not highly developed within yourself. So, I want to get better at doing something. I'm going to need to exercise focus and will and control, basically. So that's the other side of the coin.
Yeah, but to me, the way you get better at doing something is if you actually do it.
Yes.
And you practice at it.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying don't do it. I'm saying do it. But in order to do it, you need focus, and sort of that's the other side of the coin, that focus.
Yeah, but to me, that's not meditation.
Well, that's just, what you label meditation and what is.
Sorry
is
if I'm getting this all wrong. Yeah, of course it is. It very much is a very personal thing, I think.
But what I'm saying is, like, if you're sitting there breathing right, then that is very focused and very controlled. And if you're doing a yoga posture, well, that's very focused and very controlled. And these people are doing it to develop that skill of physical self-control.
Of standing on their head.
Yeah. And there's a spirituality there too.
Yeah, I get that. I get that especially in yoga and practices of that nature. Yeah.
And there are ways of combining these two together at the same time, or together complementary but not at the same time. So, for example, an artistic approach might be that you allow yourself to go with the flow, but then when you find something that you find interesting, you fix it in your mind.
Yeah.
And then you perhaps, I don't know, do a poem about it or a drawing about it, or use it as a form of inspiration.
Yeah, yeah.
And then let it go again.
Yeah, that's basically how I handle life, though, to be fair. That tends to be how I do things anyway.
Yeah, and then there's the way you can combine them together at the same time.
Yeah.
Where you go with the flow, but don't go with it so fast that you sort of feel like you're out of control. You go with it in a controlled way. And this is where everything becomes very flowing and deliberate, and it's a bit like Tai Chi, perhaps, something like that.
Yeah.
And that's a skill too. And it's like when I talk like that. And Terence McKenna talks like that.
Very monotone.
It's continuous, and everything he says, he extends all his words so long that it gives him enough time to think about what he's going to say next without leaving any spaces in between.
So as to sound very eloquent.
And no one else can butt into what he's saying, so he can have the conversation.
I'm not dissing Terence McKenna, by the way. I'm a fan.
No, I like Terence McKenna.
Yeah.
But, just wouldn't shut up.
Well, no, but that can be said for a lot of these, out there kind of people.
So, yeah.
Alan Watts is another one.
What you designate meditation is where you are in terms of your development.
Yeah, I guess so. But would you consider yourself to be more highly developed than me then?
Because I like to stand back and ask myself what the big picture and the overall picture of it is. I think that helps me to grasp the whole of meditation, which is something that I really wanted to be able to do. I really want to be able to understand all meditation. But I don't necessarily think that means that I'm more developed in any one area. In fact, I know there are areas that I need to work on more than others. But what I do is I use...
Maybe we shouldn't turn it into a competition, because it is a very personal journey.
Well, yeah. As I say, it's not a competition.
No. He does say that quite often as well, and it's annoying. To the point of annoyance.
But yeah, no, what was I going to say? Oh yeah, I use an oracle to determine what I'm going to do randomly next.
I should use my intuition cards, because I think they would work really well for that.
I got R1 to do some more meditation tonight.
Yeah. How did that go?
Well, this time, because I'm using an oracle to randomly determine what we're doing, we never do the same thing. We haven't done the same thing twice yet, anyway. I thought I'd try her out on some magic.
Ah.
Well, it came up. The oracle came up with it. So I thought, okay, well...
Are you sure we're not going to, do harm to our children?
Well, I'll tell you what I did, and you can tell me whether you think it was harmful or not.
To our children's young psyches.
No, she seems to like it.
Yeah. Sorry, I won't disturb you again.
It's the first thing she wants to do when I do the little evening session with her. She always says she wants to do meditation first. I don't know why. Maybe that'll just go away and she'll get bored of it.
I don't think so.
But anyway, what we did was I asked her if there's anything that she wanted to do in the future. And she said she wanted to dance on a rainbow. And I said, okay, right, so here's what we're going to do. And it came up with like an environmental meditation. So, this is a very V area, environmental meditation. V likes objects and altars and things like that.
Not so much these days. It's faded, but it comes and goes.
Well, it's part of who you are, which is why you like the minimalist environment.
I have, I don't know if I've discussed this in the transmission yet, but I'm sure I've touched on it. I have a very strange relationship with stuff.
Yes, we have. We've touched on it. Yeah,
we have. Okay.
Environmental sensitivity.
Yeah.
So it was an environmental magic, and so what I got her to do was I said, right, she's got like a hopscotch mat.
Yeah.
I said, well, go and stand on the number 1 of the hopscotch mat and like look around the room and see if you can see anything that you think represents is like a rainbow. And she looked at her numbers because she's got different coloured numbers, little wooden numbers. And she looked at them and thought, yeah, okay, that's a bit like a rainbow. So we got the numbers down and put them at the end of the hopscotch mat on the number 8 because it doesn't go up to 10. And then I said, okay. And then she started saying, oh, wait a minute, this isn't a rainbow because the colours aren't in the right order. So
I know.
Exactly.
She's got that down. She was telling me that the other day.
So she put all the colours in the right order, took all the numbers out and put the colours in the right order. And like, if you remember, she said she wants to dance on a rainbow. So I said to her, okay, we've got all the colours in the right order. That's the rainbow at number 8 and we're at number 1. This is where we are now. What I want you to do is just walk up to number 8 and do a dance and then come back. So she went up to number 8, did a dance, came back. I said, well, there we go, that's that. Then we put it all away and forgot about it. It's just like sort of a ritual 101.
I don't think she's going to be too disturbed, let's put it that way.
That's fine, isn't it?
She'd just be a little bit strange at school.
Then she drew a picture of dancing on a rainbow.
Yeah.
But that tends to happen though. We do a meditation on something, she wants to draw a picture of it.
She's very visual.
Yeah.
So
there we go. So I thought I'd throw that in there because we were talking about meditation.
Sweet.
I don't know. That's it, meditation. What do you want to talk about now?
I think that's it for the time.
Well, that will call it a day then.
Yeah, I just had a few things that I wanted to talk about tonight. So
what did we start talking about?
Shadow work.
Shadow work.
Because I've seemed to have gone back to it again.
Yep. All right.
Okay, bye.
Until next time.
Bye.